There we go. What's going on, guys? So today I just want to make a quick video talking to you guys about something sort of interesting. So it's these two guys. There's definitely more, but Dr. Joe Dispenza and Tony Robbins. And I guess I'll incorporate. I don't know too much about her. I'll be real with you. I haven't read her book or watched the movie. But Rhonda Byrne, she created a book in the movie called The Secret. I'm just sort of delving into some of this stuff a little bit. So you're hearing this from me as it's coming to me, right? Like I'm sort of like learning as I go. So I just want to share this with you guys and maybe open you guys up to the potential with this as well, right? So a lot of people have heard of Tony Robbins, and Rhonda Byrne and Joe Dispenza are also pretty popular as well. So anytime I didn't really know much, I'm actually going to probably read one of my first Tony Robbins books here soon, but I didn't know too much about any of these people, right? What I knew is that with Tony Robbins and Rhonda Byrne, I heard a lot about like manifesting and affirmations and the law of attraction and the universe, right? And I had to be completely honest with you. I am 100% one of those people who starts out as a skeptic with that, right? Like, I would be the guy who would potentially use the term woo-woo with some of it. Now, I have to be real with you because that's where I started, right? And slowly over the course of the years, I've gotten a little bit into meditating and just being like more positive, speaking things like telling people who I am and like what I'm working on, right? So like even if I'm not like necessarily a professional or the best at something, like I'll tell them what I do, right? And it brings new opportunities to you, and you're constantly improving. And these things it's like inviting new things into your life, new opportunities, and being a magnet for it. So fast forward to today, a lot of these people have started popping up in my social media and YouTube and whatever. And Joe Dispenza, interestingly, I'm listening to his book now. I'm not done, but it's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, which is a really great title. But it actually goes into the psychology behind some of this stuff around manifesting and affirmations and the law of attraction. And he talks a lot about not only the psychology, like how these things are wired into our body and brain, but also the fact that some of this stuff that I would have considered woo-woo before about manifesting and all that is actually related to quantum physics. Right now, I'll be real with you. The first time I heard that, I was like, "Is it though? Like really?" I'm not originally very like a spiritual guy. I didn't grow up, going to church or being super religious. My parents, they were a bit religious, but no one ever really made me go to church or anything like that. Now, I will say it is something that I'm becoming increasingly open to over the years. I haven't really delved into it yet, although I'm becoming definitely more open to it as time passes, because I get little signs from life and people that maybe it's something that I should be more open to, consider a bit more. And I don't have to be like hyper religious or anything, but just maybe take some aspects of that into my life to be like to live a higher quality life, right? And I've noticed that a lot of people who get into these things, some people do, but not everyone pushes it on you, right? And I think that's what kept me away from it for years. Now that's a bit of a tangent into like the manifesting and quantum physics thing. So what I really want to do with this video is just tell you, like, I'm in the middle of this transition, right? So I can't really speak on it too much yet, but if you want, I recommend checking out more of these creators, especially watch watch Rhonda Byrne, watch Tony Robbins, and then watch Joe Dispenza, probably in that order, because Joe Dispenza will be the one that will be like, okay, like what this guy is saying makes sense, right? He makes a lot of sense, and you can find him on different podcasts all through YouTube, and so you can see him talk at length. But it's really getting my mind into a position where like I'm realizing that this is probably the biggest gem drop of the whole video, and where I should probably end it afterwards, is that basically it's a quote, right? Like whether you can or you can't, you're right. Like whether you think you can or can't, you're right, right? And a lot of us have a ton of potential that we are continuing today to allow to be stunted by things that happened to us growing up, right? Like different things might have instilled some limiting beliefs. I'm sure for some people that's not the case, but through growing up we might have gotten some limiting beliefs, and so we're not really living at our full potential, or a good way of putting it is like, so we're not living at our full potential potentially because we have some of the self-doubt from things instilled in us from society or parents or friends or whoever growing up, right? Like, and so we're not living at our full potential because we doubt ourselves or we don't believe in ourselves, right? So that's one huge key thing here. And then on top of that, that might cause you to feel like it's difficult for you to take action, like you overthink, you feel overwhelmed, you procrastinate, you do whatever, and you don't do the work that you need to do to be the person you want to be, right? So this is where guys like Bob Proctor and Joe Dispenza come in, and they talk about like the energy that you attach, the energy that you attach to an emotion, right? Like, so if you focus all your energy on like, I can't do this, I'll do it later, like that's hard for me, you know, I don't know if that's possible, you're gonna get more of that, right? And so basically your future self, you can be that now. Like all the things that you need are literally around you now. The people, right? The opportunities, and maybe you need to fill some knowledge gaps, right? Which is why it would be important for you to make sure to keep learning, to keep working on this stuff, don't stop, and also find a mentor who can help you get there. And you can start being your future self now, right? So there's a barrier for a lot of people in between these two places. And what they would talk about with like manifesting, right, is essentially you can manifest that future that you really want, like the really high quality, abundant future where you're making the kind of money you want to make, you've got the kind of relationships you want, all these things. If you start being that person now, like what would that person do? How would that person act? Be that way. And also your body can sense it, right? Like your body can sense if you don't believe that you can do it, right? Which is likely what's keeping you stuck. And that's probably, I know I already said this, but probably one of the biggest takeaways of this video is your body can feel if you don't trust yourself, which is likely what keeps most people stuck. So if you can get to a point where you can start believing in yourself, because trust comes from not breaking promises to yourself and consistent action, and it's a mix of the action and the like working smart, you could say, right? So that's how I sort of tie in some of the stuff that they're talking about and rewiring your brain, because you have to rewire some of your habits, right? Like if you keep doing the same things every day, you know, there's different quotes like show me your calendar and I'll show you your future, or you know, show me your habits and I'll show you your future. So like the clear example is if all you do is go to work, the gym, watch Netflix, eat, repeat, that's gonna be your future, right? Like it's not really gonna change. So you have to put into motion the things that will make you into your future self now. Like, what do they do, right? And that way, you're gonna start believing in yourself. Right? You have to attach this positive energy to it. And I think the last thing I'll leave you off with here is something from Joe Dispenza that was really helpful to me. Is you have to be able to not only think about it, get it out of your head. You got to write it down. What that vision for your future, like your future self, looks like. What are they doing? What are they able to do? What do they have? Who's around them? How does it feel? And that's the most important part, is feeling that, right? Because it's really arrogant to think that because so many people in the world have already accomplished what you're looking to accomplish, that you can't do it. And likely they were able to visualize it, right? So on top of thinking about it, journaling or writing it down, you have to be able to picture it. And not only picture it, there's a level deeper to it, which is feeling what that feels like, right? So what I want you to do after this video, something that some of these guys like Joe Dispenza and the others recommend, is what is that future that you really want? What is that future that's coming to you feel like? Right? Because that's going to get you into this powerful state, like very positive, very open to opportunities around you, talking to the right people and connecting to that future, right? Like what does that emotion feel like with that, amazing girlfriend or amazing wife and kids, or like how are you helping provide value or serving others in a way where you're maybe mentoring or helping them and helping them live the kind of life that they want, and maybe that's providing you with your financial freedom, right? Like, how are you doing this? Because what I was going to say about the inner child earlier, right, is if that's suppressed and you get a lack of belief, you lose that same sense of play and creativity that you had when you were young, which is why some of these like entrepreneurs or creators or things like that, like they're living an amazing life because they tapped into that inner child again, right? Like they were able to learn how to be creative with their life again, right? So you're actually able to create that future that you really want. So that in feeling, like just sit with yourself and feel what that vision, that future situation looks like. How does it feel to have that beautiful family, right? Like, how does it feel to be able to help others the way that you do? How are you helping them? All these different things. And what is that emotion? Like, what does that feel like? And now you're in that state where you're in alignment with that future and you can go get after it. Like I said, I'm sort of wrapping my head around a lot of this stuff right now, and it probably sounds like it while I'm talking. So I'll keep you updated as I go through it. But I hope this helps someone else go from the woo-woo to, oh, maybe this stuff is real stage, because that's sort of where I'm thinking and feeling through it. Like, I think there might be something more to this stuff that not enough people know, and I hope this helps. You got this, man.